Recently, I realized that I try to unmask all the time. I try to introduce myself to someone as a version that I think is appropriate publicly, is a good version of me. And then as I get to know them better, I try to let them get to know me better. And that means letting the cracks in my mask kind of open up to get a little more personality out, maybe a little bit of humor, maybe something about the things that I like to do, whatever, I think that this is something that everyone does. I think that part is kind of totally normal. The idea that when you try to get to know someone better, you try to show them more about you and your personality. I just think that for neurodivergence, it goes a little bit deeper into like the kinds of things that we're trying to hide. The one thing that I find the most painful and that I don't ever know how to fix is that moment when I'm trying to open up to someone and I offend them. And it happens for wild reasons, and I never know what I'm going to do that offends them until afterwards. The second it happens, I'm like, oh, yeah, right. That was not how that was supposed to... No, I see it, I hear it now. Now that it's out in the world instead of in my head, I see how that doesn't work well in this circle, but like in other circles it's worked before, and so, and my brain goes around in circles. I was trying to think of like a good story to explain this, and the only one I could remember was... Okay, so this one time I was at a restaurant and I was a hostess and I was trying to get to know all of the other like workers there, all the girls, and I was trying to like make friends with them, and a circle of them were talking about sign language because a couple of them were learning sign language. And a little thing about me, my parents both know sign, and for a while in their 20s they ran like some sort of house for adults who had hearing disabilities, and so they both know how to sign and they could sign to each other. And so I don't really know a lot of sign, but I've picked up a little bit because my parents actually like to use it as like a secret language because they're assholes. Instead of teaching their kids this secret language, they would just use it. And that's not the point. The point is, I had a favorite sign. So these girls who I'm trying to get to know, who I'm trying to become friends with, are talking about sign language, and I run up ready to tell them my favorite sign, and I just know they're gonna love it because I think it's hilarious. I walk up and I go, do you want to know my favorite sign? And they nod, and I go, abortion. Nobody laughed. Nobody chuckled. Nobody smiled. They looked at me with the most horrified, aghast faces. And for a second I was still like, oh, because you the baby, and then you take it out and throw it away. So it's like, it's funny because for a second I'm still trying to explain the joke. I'm trying to explain to them why it's hilarious that this sign... I didn't make any friends that day. Like, I know why. I know why that was the wrong move, but I swear, in the right circles, that's hilarious.